And then the last point was about greatness redefined. So this was kind of about how Paul contrasted the Corinthians' view of themselves, which was quite, puffed up, quite proud and arrogant, and then the apostles' reality, which really was the opposite of what you'd expect great men to be experiencing. They were weak, they were hungry, they were reviled, slandered and persecuted. And he describes them, the leaders, the apostles, being as like the last of all, a spectacle to the world. And then this phrase, the scum of the world and the refuse. So like the dirty rubbish that people throw out, the dirty scum on the inside of a sink. That's how he was describing leaders. That's what leadership looks like in God's eyes. Not fame, not all the externals, not luxury, not glory, but faithfulness, sacrifice, and ultimately the cross. He describes Jesus really in that passage. That's really not the kind of Messiah or hero that the world was looking for, but Jesus just came in the completely opposite way. And he was ultimately the shamed, humiliated Son of God, but he was demonstrating this whole idea of the cross being foolish, the opposite of who they expected to come. And just that Jesus's way, his kingdom, the way he lived his life and what he modeled was just the opposite way of the world. Jesus demonstrated humility, lowliness, and self-sacrifice. Not the way that the world views it. The world has a very kind of self-centered view. Everybody wants to be kind of an influencer and is conscious of kind of status and an image, wanting to be significant and achieve and look really good in front of other people. And the world loves to admire those kind of people. We put them on pedestals. But often those kind of things can come from a root of pride and ego and self. And sometimes that can spill into the church as well. And some churches in the contemporary Christian world, you may find that, those things can be sought after, like even celebrity status. And so Paul was just reminding them to examine their hearts, check their motives, make sure they're living for an audience of one. And then I held up this ladder, I called it the ladder of greatness. And Paul's trying to demonstrate that where the world strives for success, influence and greatness in the eyes of men, actually Jesus flips that ladder on its side, completely upside down. And he redefines greatness, modeling a completely different way. Greatness in the kingdom of God is to be lowly, humble and selfless. So that was a quick recap. And then I've just got a few questions for you to discuss. So the first question, what does it look like in practical terms to admire spiritual leaders or church leaders without idolizing them? So you could just discuss that one. And then secondly, how might focusing on God as your ultimate judge and rewarder change how you serve, lead, or live today? And then thirdly, what does faithful stewardship or servanthood look like in your life, in your ministry, your work, your school, your home? And final question, whose opinion about your spiritual life matters most to you? God's, your own, or other people's? How can we shift towards truly living for an audience of one? Hope you have a useful and interesting discussion. Hope it's been helpful. Have a good evening.